So you're thinking about moving to Kansas City. Here are 15 things that you probably don't know about living here. The first one is that you need a car. If you're coming from a metro area that has great public transportation and you can get around without a car, unfortunately, that's not going to be the case for you here. You're going to need a car, so come prepared with the budget to buy one or bring yours from wherever you're considering moving from. The second is that places across the metro are entirely different. Living north of the river is going to be way different than living south of the river. Living in Missouri is going to be different than living in Kansas. I've made videos on all of that stuff. If you are considering moving to Kansas City and you need to know what would be the best fit for me, give us a call, 816-4MOVE-KC, 816-4MOVE-KC. My name is Jaylenn, and I moved here with my family 4 years ago from Los Angeles, California, and we absolutely love it here. I've since gotten into real estate, and I help people relocate here all the time from all over the country. And so if you're thinking about moving here, give me a call, 816-4MOVE-KC. I also put my email down below, and if you're looking for an agent that speaks Spanish, then we have that too. We can hook you up, 816-4MOVE-KC. The third thing is that just like all the different areas in Kansas City, in the Kansas City metro are different, the schools are different across the metro as well. If your child has particular educational needs, or if you're looking for a certain level of education for your child, then you're going to want to explore the entire metro because there are going to be some areas that you're not going to like, and there's going to be some areas that you're going to love. Number 4 is that people are going to be super nice here. There's a saying called Midwest nice, and if you're like me and you've come from the West Coast, you may not be used to how nice people can be when you come to Kansas City, or even if you're from the East Coast. I've heard from people moving from both coasts that they were surprised at how super nice the people were here. So if you're not used to that, or if you kind of like to keep to yourself, of course you can do that, and you can not come out and interact with people, but people here are super nice and really eager to welcome you here to Kansas City. Number 5 is that we have a brand new airport. It opened April of 2023. It's probably the newest airport in the United States right now as of this recording. We used to have this old, outdated airport, and it wasn't the best, but our brand new airport is fantastic. Next up is that we are a sports town. Right now, the Kansas City Chiefs are 2-1. They just beat the Chicago Bears. Right now, the Kansas City Chiefs are coming off their Super Bowl win in 2022. Travis Kelce is dating Taylor Swift. Everybody is abuzz about the Chiefs. The Royals are bringing their disappointing season down to a close. Sporting KC, our soccer team, is in the midst of their season, and we are building a brand new soccer stadium just for women's soccer. Our team, called the KC Current, is going to get a brand new stadium, the first for only women's soccer right here in Kansas City. It is a sports-obsessed town, so if you don't like that, then don't move here. Number 7 is that you are going to experience all 4 seasons in Kansas City. Right now, it is late September, and some of the leaves are already beginning to change around my house. I think it's a beautiful time of year, but if you're coming from a place where you don't have seasons, like I moved from Los Angeles and we had no seasons. So one of the things that you better get used to if you're moving here is that we have all 4 seasons. So you're going to want to bundle up during the winter. You're going to want to get ready for high humidity summers here in Kansas City. If you stay until the end of this video, there is a 16th thing that you need to know about Kansas City that nobody is talking about right now. Number 8 is that right now there is construction going on basically everywhere. The Kansas City infrastructure is really old and really outdated, and it needs to be upgraded. So construction is a really good thing, although if you come within the next few years, you're probably going to be inconvenienced getting here and there because of the construction. It is an annoying thing to have to hop on a freeway, and the freeway is kind of chokeholded into, one lane just because there's so much construction going on. Of course, we're going to enjoy the benefits of it in a few years, but right now it is hard to get around. So construction is everywhere. Make sure that you're ready for that if you move here to Kansas City. Number 9 is that we are known for our barbecue. Everybody here in Kansas City has their favorite barbecue place. For me, it's Jack Stack on the plaza, and you know why? It's because my brother works there, so I get a discount. If I had to choose somewhere else other than Jack Stack, it would be Joe's Kansas City. Make sure you go to the one on 47th that's out of a gas station because the other one is just not as good. Number 10 is that Kansas City is located in both Kansas and Missouri.
Are you crazy?
I've made extensive videos helping you make up your mind whether you should live on the Missouri side or whether you should live on the Kansas side. They're going to be different. The cost of living is going to be different. The crime rates are going to be different. The taxes are going to be different. Of course, the people are going to be mostly the same because we go into Kansas. We live on the Missouri side. We go into Kansas all the time, and we have people in Kansas that come into the Missouri side all the time. It's going to be the same people. However, it's in both Kansas and Missouri, so you're going to want to know that. Number 11 is that Kansas City is the city of fountains. You may not know this, and based on my research, this may be untrue. It is said that Kansas City is second only to Rome in terms of how many fountains we have in our city. We have more fountains than places like Venice and places like Paris. If that's true or not, I don't really know, but we do have a ton of fountains out here, more than 200. And they are beautiful and really fun to enjoy, and they give our city a ton of character. So you may not know that Kansas City is called the City of Fountains because we have a ton of fountains here. Number 12 goes along with the construction. Right now, the road system here is really unenjoyable to drive on. When you need to get here, there, or anywhere, it is hard to learn, especially coming from a place like Southern California like myself. It is hard to get used to the street signs here. And one of the things I really hate about the road systems is, I'm going to tell you a short story. When we first moved here, we moved onto a street called 69th Terrace, and right next to us, guess what? It was 69th Street. And so you can bet that our address on 69th Street would get a ton of our mail that we used to have in 69th Terrace. And it was super, super annoying. I'd have to walk all the way across the block to get my mail that was always dropped off on 69th Street because I lived on 69th Terrace. And that happens throughout the city. It is super annoying.
I know this is annoying.
I wish there was just 169th Street and 167th Street and 168th Street. But unfortunately, it's just not like that here in Kansas City. You have streets, you have terraces. Sometimes you even have a 69th Street, 69th Terrace, and 69th Court. So that adds to the confusion as well. The street system here is extremely confusing. Number 13 is that we have an extremely low cost of living here compared to other American cities. If you look at the average American home, right now it's right about $410,000. However, the average home in Kansas City, Missouri is right around $250,000. And the average home on the Kansas side is right around $300,000. Now these are rough estimates, but you can see it is well below the average price point of a home in America. And you get a ton for your money too. You get a great metropolitan area. You get an area with a growing population. There's tons of people coming here to Kansas City right now, and that's because they know that it is extremely cheap to live here. Number 14 is that you may be surprised that there are a lot of companies like Cerner, Hallmark, H&R Block that call Kansas City their home. And this goes along with all the opportunity that I just mentioned to you happening here in Kansas City. There's a ton of commercial construction going on right now. There's a ton of people coming into Kansas City right now. If you're a young professional, then you may want to consider Kansas City because there's a ton of opportunity for your career to grow here right now. Number 15 is that we have a thriving art system here. Spray See Mo is a local festival where there's a bunch of spray painters and local Kansas City artists that come out here, and they do a ton of work in the Crossroads District and the surrounding areas where they paint beautiful murals on the Kansas City buildings, and it is super enjoyable to drive around and see them. There's one building in particular that my son really, really loves. It's a huge panther with its claws out, and my son really loves pointing at that scary tiger. Number 16, as promised, is that Kansas City is notoriously a horrible place for young people to date.
Find a date, sweetie.
Unfortunately, I've heard it anecdotally from my friends, and I've also heard it posted on our Kansas City Facebook groups, but Kansas City is right now a notoriously poor place if you're a single person hoping to meet the one. It has a low success rate for dating. Now, I do have some friends that are getting married later this year, so maybe that's not true, but you're going to want to know that the word around the street is that Kansas City is a horrible place for dating.